Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? DU546. This is like the Heartbreak Giants. Like the Heartbreak Giants that I grew up watching with Eli Manning, where he throws 2-3 interceptions at the beginning of a game, and you know you're frustrated, and all of a sudden you're at the end of the game, and like the Giants are in it ready to win. Got a bunch of big plays. Now Russ didn't have interceptions and stuff at the beginning of the game, but let me just pull up these stats because I haven't been able to keep track of it as the game has gone on. But the Giants have lost this game in overtime with 3 seconds left in overtime, 40-37. There's a lot to cover in this game. I'm so frustrated because this was supposed to be a game that I could come on here and celebrate because the Giants played so well. Russell Wilson outplayed their quarterback. Our running backs probably got outplayed by Javonte Williams because he had some nice runs. But our receivers went absolutely bonkers. They went absolutely bonkers. So let's just go down the list here. Russell Wilson, 30 for 41, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception that was costly. Got sacked 3 times, but I don't think the pass rush against us was that really, really detrimental. I don't really think it factored much into the game. We just, you get sacked 3 times when you throw the ball 41 times. Cam Scatterboo was our leading rusher today with 45 yards. The run game was really non-existent, but when we needed to run the ball, we ran it. We ran the ball pretty well, besides in the beginning where we couldn't score in the red zone. But besides that, when we needed to run the ball, we ran it pretty well. Scatterboo with his first touchdown. Shout out to Scatterboo. Now receiving is where I was really excited about. And man, I really, again, wish that I could come on here and celebrate a win. I really wish I could come on here and celebrate a win. But the Giants, they'll do it to us. We're 0-2. If we would have played like this last week, we would have beat the Washington Commanders football team, whatever they are. We would have beat them by 2 scores. If we would have played this way last week. Malik Neighbors, 13 targets, 9 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see from Malik Neighbors. 167 and 2 touchdowns. That's the type of receiver he is, and I'm glad he finally has a quarterback that can bring that out of him. Wan'Dale Robinson. I've been saying in the offseason, Wan'Dale is going to be making plays behind the defense downfield. What did Wan'Dale do? 2 or 3 times a day, down the field, making plays behind the defense. It doesn't matter if you have short arms and T-Rex arms if you can run by people. It doesn't matter. Expect Wan'Dale to continue to be the wide receiver 2 in this offense. Slayton got 3 targets today, 2 catches, 61 yards, had a 52-yarder. Wan'Dale had a 50-yarder. Malik Neighbors had a 48-yarder. So these 3 folks, they showed up. These 3 receivers showed up. Slayton could have gotten involved a little bit more, but when Wan'Dale has 10 targets and Malik Neighbors has 13, it's clear who your 1 and 2 are. So that's settled for now. It could change, but it's settled for now. Wan'Dale had some nice 3rd down conversions. Theo Johnson had some nice conversions. Didn't have a huge game, but nice bounce back game compared to last week where he dropped 2. He picked up, I think, 2 or 3 first downs today. So shout out to Theo Johnson. And it sounds like I'm celebrating a win because it's the best Giants performance I've seen in like a decade, sadly. So Gano showed up. He did his thing today. I wish he would have had to work less today because we were really dominating at the beginning of this game, and this should have been a runaway type of game where we get into the 30s and they're like picking it up, but at that point they were too far down. They shouldn't have been able to come back. But that's what happens when you leave these types of offenses. You're not going to silence. You're just not going to silence the offense like with Dak, Dak and CD and George Pickens are. So especially when you allow their running back to go off, especially when you allow Javonte Williams to get 98 yards on 18 carries. That's too much. And this was just mostly on bad tackling. So Dak Prescott, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Should have had another interception. Should have been sacked more. But, you know, it is what it is. 3 sacks. I don't know if I already said that. But CD, man, like CD and George Pickens today. George Pickens only had 68 yards, but he had the most crucial 68 yards I ever seen. The most crucial 68 yards I ever seen, because every single one of George Pickens catches were either on a third down or in a fourth down or a must have. He also drew a long pass interference, so you know he basically had a 100-yard game. CeeDee Lamb, 11 targets, 9 catches, no touchdowns. So I hate that for my fantasy team, but at least he had the 9 receptions. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb. You know, when they needed him at the end of the game, dude showed up for him, and just unfortunate. Brandon Aubrey is a freaking maniac. The dude kicked a 64-yarder today. I mean, he makes me sick, man. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with these NFC East kickers? They all want to kick 64-yarders and 65. Like, why don't you relax? Like, why is Brandon Aubrey kicking a 64-yarder in the NFL? Like, why? Why are you doing that, man? Why can't, man, like, I can't wait until we play in MetLife where this dude can't kick inside that dome like that. This dude makes me sick. Other than that, man, let's look at the sacks. Kenny Clark, the guy they brought in for Micah Parsons, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, or 1 tackle for loss for him. I didn't go over our defense. So, Kayvon Thibodeau had a sack, Elijah Garcia had a sack, Brian Burns had a sack. Now, even though you don't see Abdul Carter on here, Abdul Carter was involved in like a couple of these sacks. They gave him 1 tackle for loss or 0 tackles for loss, but his presence was definitely made. He had the loudest 1 tackle game that I've ever seen. Brian Burns is a dog. It's time to stop disrespecting Brian Burns. It's time to stop disrespecting him, because people keep saying, oh, he's just an average guy. He's just an ordinary. The dude has 3 sacks through 2 games. The dude's making all these tackles, running down the line, you know, shutting down screens, and like, let's cut that out. Dexter Lawrence should have had a couple sacks today. Dax has just been getting rid of the ball, but he had 4 tackles. But let me just talk about the play. I mean, we all know why we lost this game. James Hudson at the beginning has a million penalties on 1 drive. He's slamming guys' heads into the ground. And I just blitzed while I did that. He's slamming guys' heads into the ground. You got Drew Phillips on a play that they ended up scoring a touchdown with on that drive later on. Drew Phillips is so mad that CeeDee Lamb said that this was his revenge game. While you're limiting CeeDee Lamb, and he's not doing anything against us, Drew Phillips is like, you want to say that I hurt you on purpose? I'm going to hurt you on purpose for real. So he wins and goes and grabs CeeDee Lamb and throws him down on the ground after the play. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He throws him on the ground after the play. They get a free set of first down. They get a free set of downs, and they go right into the end zone and score. That's 4 points. Do you think we get into overtime if that's not 4 points that we give away right there? Because Drew Phillips wants to slam CeeDee Lamb down. And then, by the way, after that, after you slam CeeDee Lamb down, trying to be a tough guy, trying to, you know, get into a back and forth with a player that's better than you, CeeDee Lamb goes off. After that, he starts catching everything. He goes over 100 yards. So thank you so much, Drew Phillips, for doing that. Thank you so much, James Hudson, for a false start over and over and over again. And then you have the nerve to yell and argue with the coaches when they tell you it's time to sit your wide butt down. Then you have the nerve to argue with the coaches when they tell you it's time to sit down. Like, you're out here throwing right hooks on the field. And then you have the nerve to get mad when the coaches tell you it's time to sit down? Are you crazy? Did you really think you could go out there and just do that and just stay on the field? What type of privilege did this dude have? You're not Andrew Thomas. You're not were you even drafted? I mean, come on. Besides that, man, like, at the end of the day, these last 2 drives, even after Russ, with 20 seconds left, hits Wandale down the field. Why did our defense allow them to get down the field after that? And this dude kick a cyber leg 64-yarder. Man, I'm kind of losing myself, man. I'm kind of losing myself. But Russ hits Wandale down the middle of the field for a deep touchdown, a 50-yarder that should have iced the game with 20 seconds left. But once Russ got that ball in overtime, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if like Jackson Dart said, okay, Russ is starting to play a little bit too well. I need to get this dude out of there. And Jackson Dart went and like put a bunch of Vaseline on his hands and then like dapped up Russ and said, man, good play, man. Go ahead out there and win it. And now it's like a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of Vaseline on Russ's hand. Because for some reason, Russell Wilson threw the ball backwards. After we're on 2nd and 13, this dude throws the ball backwards. And we lose 5 more yards. Or 4 more yards. Because this dude threw the ball backwards. And they almost picked that up and ran it in for a touchdown. Then Russ gets another opportunity. And this man just like off his back foot just throws it up the middle of the field. Malik Neighbors is running the C route. And it's just intercepted in the middle of the field. At that point, the game's over, man. Game's over. And I'm just so frustrated again because this should be a game where I'm already sort of victory lapping because this is the best I've seen the Giants look in years on offense. But this should have been a game where I should have been able to run my victory laps. I should have been able to celebrate with you guys. And because of a bunch of mistakes that the Cowboys didn't even force, we lose this game in overtime. That's just so unfortunate. That's just so unfortunate. So I will come out with a more detailed review of this game probably tomorrow. Probably, tomorrow or Tuesday. Hopefully tomorrow. Until then, you guys enjoy the rest of the week. This is the best game. This is the best the Giants have looked in years. So enjoy that. And hopefully, we go out there and we upset Patrick Mahomes next week. Maybe we get in the backfield a bunch. We rattle Mahomes and we win our first game next week. But this could have been our 1-1 start. And we can go into Kansas City and into the Chargers game and lose 2. And we're only 1-3 instead of 0-4. And then we can go out there and win some games after that. But no, we got to make it difficult. So this might be a coulda, woulda, shoulda type of season. But, you guys enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of your weekend. And I don't know if the Colts played, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to get demonetized. But take that, Daniel Jones. Take that.